Hello, welcome to the Kelly Brewer Show. Today, we are blessed with my friend Fletcher Inzer. Good guy. This is a good guy. Y'all are going to like this guy. Let me share with you a little bit about Fletcher. Fletcher is a musician and a creative, and a good musician. I've seen him play, and I've jammed with him, and really good. Born and raised in Southeast Texas, he runs a local business with his family and is currently recording his first studio album. Dude, can't wait to hear that.
I'm excited, man.
Some of the stuff that I've heard is so good, and I know that you're only getting better.
Oh, well, I try.
This show is about your paradigm shift, your awakening. Who were you before? What happened? Who are you now? How are you better? What can we learn from it? So,
Yeah.
Did an apple fall on your head? Did you run into an alien? Did you see a ghost? Did you meet the President of the United States? I mean,
Nothing so creative or plain and simple. For me, we were talking about this the other day. I think for me, I was living in Austin for a little while, and I was doing a lot of things that I like to do. I was playing in a band. We weren't exactly touring, but we were playing all over Texas, playing all over the state, and was really feeling very content with that, and learned a lot from that.
how old were you at this time?
I moved there when I think I was 23, and then I left when I was like 27 or 28, something like that. Yeah, so kind of out in the world. Like, I was out of college. I was out in Austin. I was meeting new people. I was playing shows. I was doing all that stuff, and so it was one of those things, and where you feel a lot of this freedom and a lot of this growth and this expansion. And then, and I was also working. I got my real estate license, and I was working at a real estate office, and they were an awesome team. I love that team, and they're still some of my really good friends. But
Graduated college, jamming in a band. That sounds fun.
yeah, it was fun. So I was having a good time with all that, and I was working on a real estate team over there as well, and I enjoyed working with those people. They're some of my good friends still. But I ended up just like thinking, man, what the heck is going on? Why am I starting to feel like I'm in a rut? Why do I feel like I'm hitting a dead end here? And I just started like looking at what I was doing every day, and just like stuck in an office, hanging out in there, four walls, no windows, and just on the computer all the time. And I'm thinking, man, I miss being with my family. I miss building a business with my family. I miss working outside and, fixing up old houses with the people I love.
Because you had done that before you went to Austin.
Right. Basically my whole life, every summer and all that stuff. And it was a huge part of who I was. And it was.
What do they call that? What would you call somebody that fixes up whole houses to rent them? What would you call that?
I guess a real estate investor.
Real estate investor? Okay.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but we're the ones doing it too. Like,
Right.
we're really investing ourselves in the craftsmanship of it all, and taking pride in the work that we do, and that, it was just something that I was like, man, that would be better than what I'm doing now.
Wow.
Yeah, and oddly enough, it all kind of happened at the perfect time. It was at the end of 2019, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. And then 2020 hit, and COVID came out, and I was like, oh, well, good. I would have rather have been here for all that anyway. And my grandma was old, and it was like she wasn't doing so good health-wise. And it seemed like, I need to go home and spend time with her. And then, yeah, probably within 7 months of me getting back, she passed away. And so it was like the perfect moment
You
to
had
come
some
back.
vibes going on there. That's
Yeah. And I guess to get back to the paradigm shift of that choice, because now it makes so much sense, and it all worked out in such a way that I'm really happy with. But at the time, it was like, why did I want to do some of these things in the first place? Why did I want to go to Austin and get on a real estate team in the first place? What about it was appealing to me? I'll leave out the part where there was a girl over there that I was trying to chase. But anyway, that played a part in it. But a lot of it had to do with was wanting. I feel like I was wanting something to. I was trying to prove something to myself, trying to feed my ego in a way that was not in alignment with who I am and really what I want to do and how I want to spend my time. And so that paradigm shift is kind of like the relinquishing of your ego and removing a lot of your pride. Still be proud of yourself, but don't be prideful. I only want to do what I want to do for myself and for the people that I love. Like that, those are the only opinions that are really matter to me, as far as as long as I'm living, within my values and my honor code, you know. So,
So that's just to pause and focus on that for just a second. It was internal. You didn't have to go out and get in a bar fight to realize
No.
what am I doing here.
no,
The girl didn't rebuff you. I mean, this was something that happened within you.
yeah, I definitely do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah,
So
okay,
it was one of
okay.
those things, and maybe I think sometimes I'll like grind away at something, and I have to like grind myself to a stub,
Yeah.
until I'm like, okay, yeah,
Okay.
this ain't the thing, man.
I relate to that. I have done that myself. So you ground yourself to a nub, right? You were in a place, working a job you were unhappy with. You felt the tug of home.
Well, then I came home, and it was weird. It was like,
Just came home. I mean, you just dropped everything and come on home.
yes, I told my bosses, and they were super cool about it, and they I gave them 2 weeks and worked there for 2 weeks and helped them kind of phase out into the next whatever the replacement.
Yeah.
And then I got all my stuff and I brought it back here, and I somehow managed to stuff all my music gear into a spare room and kind of turned it into a music studio.
So when you were doing the job over there as in the real estate office, you were still playing?
Yeah.
Now you'd come off the road, but now you were in the office 8 hours a day.
Oh, I was in office 8 hours a day the whole time.
Oh.
And then it was like, band practice every Thursday. And then we'd bounce out on the weekends
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
play South by Southwest during the week
Right.
or whatever. And just, yeah, shows. So,
Well, did you enjoy that, the Austin music scene? To describe that a little bit, because, I mean, that had to be part of the paradigm and that what happened. I mean, that the bright lights, the big city didn't appeal.
oh, it still appeals.
Okay.
And the people, really, it's the people that appeal. And I'm still really good friends with a lot of those people. And some of my best friends, and we talk all the time, and we are still working together. I'm working with them on my first album.
Okay.
And so I go back regularly.
Okay.
It's just I wanted more flexibility, I think, and to be around my family. Yeah,
Sweet. You got a good dad.
I do.
You guys, that's a good. That's
I'm lucky.
You are lucky. He's a good guy, and I could see why you would miss him. I'll just go ahead and say it. I know you might not. You just missed him.
Oh, I did.
He's a great
No
guy.
shame there.
So your paradigm shift. If you could maybe say it in a sentence, what if that's possible? If you could say in the fewest words, just home, or you felt like your calling was here, and that's really real estate investor is what you was, as opposed to working in a real estate office.
I would say I needed a realignment of myself to my values and desires, and to pursue things for myself and for the people that I love. That's what I would say.
I got you.
If I could make it the most
That's
succinct.
pretty good.
If I could make it the
Pretty
most
good.
succinct there. Yeah.
Family. You almost could say family.
Oh yeah, family. And even if it wasn't family for somebody else, just I think so many, and I think this is a thing going on with a lot of people right now is, with the internet and TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff, we see everyone else's life online and we perceive it as reality for them. And then we want to apply those things to ourselves because we think that that's going to be the marker of success for ourselves, or it's going to gain us some kind of credibility with other people. And
So what gen are you? Are you Gen Y? Or do you know?
I'm a millennial.
Millennial. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So millennials, is there like are they supposed to have some kind of a mentality that's.
I think the millennial mentality is a little bit of a participation trophy kind of group.
Oh yeah.
Maybe, and I don't want to generalize everybody, but I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's like, they were talking about how like when they grew up, like, dad gave him a spanking, dad gave him a whipping. No, don't do it because I said don't do it. And we thought, and we were like, man, I wonder what the emotional toll was on these people who maybe had a more strict or potentially severe sort of reprimanding for their behavior. And I think there's probably some good things they got out of it, and maybe some harsh things they got out of it. And then the development of parenting styles up into, like, say, the 90s. I was born in 92. And so what were the child rearing mentalities then? And I think it was kind of like, yeah, you can be whatever you want to be, like, just do your best, and like, like, it's okay, like, maybe a little more emotionally aware or sensitive kind of upbringing.
Okay.
But maybe not as strict.
Yeah.
And I think that there are pros and cons to both.
Right. Right. Well, I could see your dad, though. I could see him dishing out corporal punishment. I don't know if he did.
No, he didn't.
Really?
He didn't. My dad never like spanked me or anything like that, and I never got a whipping.
Well, maybe you were just.
I was maybe just a good kid, but for the most part, he would if I did something that he didn't think was in line with what I should be doing, he would sit me down and we'd talk about it. And instead of just saying, hey, don't do it because I said don't do it, he was like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think the outcomes of those choices are?
Wow.
And tried to have a little bit of a philosophy lesson with me there.
A lot of us wish we'd had that.
Well, I think it works. It can work, if especially if the kid's receptive. And I don't know how I was receptive.
So if you became a father, you would use that style, wouldn't you?
I would. I think there is definitely places for whippings every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that would be in like very severe
rare.
cases.
A really hard-headed kid.
Yeah, but I talk about this all the time with friends and family. It's like, what's the difference? Like, I think some people are just born with a hard head, and some people are born like, I remember I got in trouble one time. My grandma got upset with me about something, and she said, "Go stand in that corner over there." That classic thing. Go stand in the corner.
Oh yeah.
And I did. I just stood in the corner, and then nobody. Like, I could have gone. I could have left it for all they cared,
Yeah.
But I did it, and it was like, oh, he's just a good kid. He'll do what you say.
So I remember having to go into the corner, but what they would do is they would throw rice in the corner, and you had to kneel down
Oh, wow.
in the rice.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was always a little pain associated with
Wow. Interesting.
back from me. So I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah.
So that's going way back, dating myself. But okay, so I didn't mean to interrupt you with all this. I'm just trying to fill in some of the background, of who you are and where you're coming from, and then
Which he grew up with more of that. He grew up. My grandpa was born in 23. Was in World War II and fought all through there, and so he got whippings, and then he gave whippings.
Yeah.
And just there's some crazy stories about those whippings, and Dad nearly getting one, but he zipped around the house and climbed under and, stuff like that. So it's, he grew up with that, and it would have been easy and simple to just repeat that. But I think he was like, man, I didn't like that. And I don't know what I even learned from that,
Well, your dad's a good leader, so, but we don't talk about him.
Yeah, you'll have to get him on
Have
for
to
his
get
own
him
episode.
on, yeah, tell his side of the story. So, all right, so your paradigm got you home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're back doing what you love. Was it the right decision?
I think so. It was weird. I got back, and I'd been playing and doing all this stuff with the band and working and trying to get better at my craft and at playing music and my instruments and then my lyrics and everything like that. And it was like I wasn't like landing songs. I wasn't writing stuff that really like struck and stuck for me. And then I got back and I'm like, oh, I'm here. And I started writing stuff like just nonstop.
Really?
And it was weird. It was stuff that like, and I was talking about, family. I was talking about honor, character. I was talking about, emotions, feelings, love, all that stuff. And
Wimberley.
yeah, Wimberley. Yeah. On Spotify. Anyway, but yeah,
I think there's something in the water here.
Yeah. yeah.
That's on Spotify as
Yeah,
well. so-
yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was like I'm home, I'm back, I'm in alignment. Maybe the magnetic fields or
Right.
my chakras or
Right,
something
right.
were set up right, and I just started doing that. I working was great. I was feeling a passion for what I was doing finally.
So you went right back into driving nails,
Yeah.
rebuilding house. Of course, we had a hurricane that blew hell
Oh,
out
yeah.
of us.
Yeah, yeah.
We had plenty of work to do.
Oh yeah, tons of work. But yeah, it felt like the right thing. And like, for me, one of the big things was like, well, my dad, at that time, my dad was like 66 maybe. And it was like, dude, if I don't go back and work with dad, I'm not going to get to work with dad. And that was a huge driving factor for me is like, this is something he and I had always talked about, like my whole life.
And you've been building it too.
Yeah. And if I don't go back, my dad's going to be too old to be out there doing stuff with me, And so that was something I really didn't want to miss. And I haven't missed it.
He's, such a repository of knowledge. My dad is the same way. I've learned so much from him, and I'm thankful for him being around. So maybe that you wanted to tap into the knowledge.
Oh
possibly,
yeah,
or-
yeah. You need the knowledge, and it's funny. You can Google search anything, but it's not the same as having somebody who knows 5 different solutions for one problem,
Right.
and now you get to learn those, and then you have them now, and yeah, and just the fun of it. It's fun. It's
yeah?
just fun to. We get frustrated, no doubt,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm probably get more frustrated than he does because he loves telling stories, and I'm trying to, and I'm the one under the house, fixing up the pipes or whatever. Like, hey, shut up! Hand me that tool, whatever. Tell me the story later.
That would be interesting. Be a fly on the wall watching you two.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
The FBI guys.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
heard.
The FBI guys. Yeah, he loves that joke.
Yeah, he sells it a lot.
Oh yeah.
He's a little bit corny.
Oh yeah, he is.
But all right, so what do we learn?
It's not specifically about a place or anything. I think that it could be anywhere. For me, it's a place because it's so entrenched into like my values and my family and the locale of it all. But I think just like, find what you love, find the things that, impassion you, and pursue those things, And if there's something going on in your life that's draining you more than it's feeding you, get away from that stuff and then go towards the stuff that's
That's good. I like that one.
gonna drive you. Which is hard if you're a musician
Yeah.
because, you do have to pay the bills.
You're everywhere.
Yeah, you have to pay the bills, but and that's always a balance too. It's like, how do you balance the work and the art?
So, okay, how about this?
Well, okay, how about this?
Go ahead.
So something that I've been observing a lot with people, and at least people my age, is people are afraid right now to try new things. They're afraid to like, hey, I want to start a business, but I don't know which business I want to start. And if I'm afraid that if I, go this route, what if I for example, what if somebody starts I don't know, like a clothing business. They make clothes. They can buy a sewing machine, they make stuff like whatever. And then they start it and then they're like, man, I hate this. Like, then you just feel like you wasted all that time, right? But it's weird to see people like not even starting. They just don't start because they're afraid of like, well, what if I hate it? Or what if I fail at it?
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued by that. And I think I've felt the fear of failure before, and I probably still feel it, But I think a lot of people people kind of don't realize how much everything compounds on itself. And you learning how to make something at all is going to help you how to make, like, even if you don't ever sew again, like you do it for 1 month and you know, and then, but whatever you learned in that thing, now you can take it over to this.
Right.
And now you at least know, okay, I'm not going to do this before this.
But I know how to start now.
Yeah. I know how to start, or I know how to like do a rough fitting for like, I mean, like, honestly, like the sewing example, like I learned how to sew in college. I was a theater major and we had to make some costumes or something like that. And then things like that is like applying to these screens I was telling you about. I'm making these mosquito screens for this, but it's a fabric, right?
Right.
A mosquito screen's a fabric. So I just, okay, cool. Slap it on there, cut it out, you know, pull it all tight and whatever. I don't know. Stuff like that. It rolls into the next thing.
Fear not. So fear not, you're saying. Be bold.
Fear not, but also I think it's like I think we're made in the image of our Creator. And when you think about what that means, we are made in the image of our Creator. That means that we are meant to create. That means we are meant to explore and to try new things and to use our creativity in whatever way we fancy. Learn how to do this, learn how to do that, learn how to make this thing, you know, learn how to fix your house, whatever. And I don't know, just that, I've been thinking about that a lot, you know. People are so scared to even start stuff. And it's like, you don't have to make a living out of it. You could just learn it. And then it'll apply somewhere down the road. It's not a waste of time.
So where do you see this fear or whatever it is you're talking about? Where?
I see it in friends and mostly, friends and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're trying. So maybe you could be a motivational speaker.
Oh no, there's no way.
No.
No, I don't have the patience, man.
Well, you're motivating me. I'm thinking, what else can I do that I haven't already done?
Well, actually, you are a prime example of that. I mean, you are doing everything. You're a musician. You own several businesses. You are, you've written books. Where's right behind you. You've written books. You got a video game out. You're doing all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And I think that that's the perfect example of that. You know, just try something, dabble in it, and see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good, encouraging words. I think you're right about that too. Because what is it about music that you like so much?
Like, I remember when I was a kid, I was like probably 5 years old, and I heard some record, and I was like literally in my living room running around like performing to nobody, you know. And but in my head, I was like performing to a giant stadium, right? Yep. And just this music makes people feel things, and music makes people feel like other people feel the same way. You know, it's a way for us to relate to one another. It's a way for us to express parts of ourselves that we don't normally put out. And
that's a good point. So normally we're just walking around a lot, kind of flat. But when you hear music, all of a sudden,
well, the lyrics and the way it's sung and the way it's played, it all expresses an emotion. It all conveys a message, and that's what I love about music. Is just, it's brought me through some really tough times. It's made me really happy, and yeah, I guess in some way it's kind of like I want to be able to do that for other people, if I can do any good, in the world, because, you don't know how life's going to turn out. Maybe I'll end up on playing Madison Square Garden or something someday.
I can see that.
Or maybe I won't. And even if I don't, at the bare minimum, I would like to help someone in need. If any of my songs can ever bring anybody some sort of joy or inner peace, that would be a huge win,
Well, just, we jammed, we did a gig or two, and we played the song Wimberley, and I got a lot of joy from playing the song with you, and I know I didn't play it right, like you're,
whatever,
recording, but I kind of,
you did great.
I kind of picked.
You really did.
But I'm starting to hear a sort of a theme with you, in that you want to help others, you want to lift others up.
Yeah, I would say so.
Where does that come from? That's special. You don't hear that very often.
I think it's our responsibility. It's part of I think something that's kind of going on in America is there's been this weird divide, and it kind of comes back to family. but there's been this strange divide of where we don't have communities in the same way that we used to. And everyone is an individual now, which is good in some ways. It's good to know yourself. It's good to set boundaries for yourself and to take care of yourself. But I think we foster this individualism rather than a communalism, which is funny. I think it's similar to communism, but it's not communism in the sense. It's communalism.
Right.
You know, how can a community take care of each other? You know, and if we look back to history and the way that people used to take care of each other, you know, it wasn't about cash. It wasn't about dollars. Right. It was about, well, hey, you know, you go out and get the grain, I go out and get the meat, and he fixes his shoes.
Right.
You know, so how do we all keep this thing running? And, you know, so I think it's a part of our responsibility to help each other. And, yeah, I guess music is the way that I feel like I can.
Well, but you were talking about coming home to the family and helping in the family business and stuff, and connecting with people, and music is a great way to connect with people. Okay, so you're playing, you're in the middle of a session, y'all are, you know, you're live, you're jamming, the band's good. You're on stage, what is the thing that's happening that just keeps you coming back every time?
I think for me, it's the people. Like the people that I'm playing with, like, just because, like, sometimes I think some people do it for the attention, which is great, and I think I enjoy that too. There's no doubt about that. Not gonna deny that. It's so much fun when you can, like, almost like block the audience out, and then just have a blast with the people that you're on this stage with. Yeah. And just do your absolute best. And then that is actually the best way to interact with the audience. Right. You know, it's like, you know, hey, we're up here having a blast together. We're having fun. Right. And then they feel that energy.
That's right.
You know, you're not really, I mean, you are playing for them, but you're playing for yourselves, and you're just trying to make the most of what you got up there.
Yeah. Band of brothers.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, like that's what they describe when they're out there. You know, I'm trying to survive for the guy next to me, you know, and he's there for me if I need him as well. So.
Well, there's and we've talked and I think I've sent you this video. There's this Nina Simone live recording where she's just up on the piano, rocking and rolling, man, and you can tell she's not up there. She's not up there for the audience. She's up there to have a blast, and it's a song that she had recorded and had performed a bunch of times, but she's up there just goofing around with it, sliding things around, sliding words around, doing all sorts of different stuff with it. And, you know, it's just mastery. You know, you're up there just doing your thing, feeling the spirit move, you know.
It is a spirit, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a spirit, whatever you want to call that sort of directs what's kind of going on. You know, spirit, vibration, music. If God spoke the world and the creation into existence, then that means we're made of vibrations, right? Yeah. Because a voice is vibration. Went to a conference a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking about how your body changes out all of its molecules or whatever, or cells. Cells regenerate every 30 days.
Yeah.
So really, I am a different person than I was 30 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm completely refreshed and brand new. And so who I am is really just sort of a pattern or a vibration that's somehow existing, you know, in a physical form.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway, it blows my mind.
No, that's really cool. And I love that. I love that example because, and I've heard that before, you know, we're literally a new person, you know, and it's pretty encouraging, you know, when you think like, oh, people don't think they can change. They don't think they can improve. They don't think that their life is going to change, or say you have bad habits or something like that. It's like, well, you literally are not the same person you were how many days ago. Right. And that's something I've thought about too. It's like we get so caught up, and this is kind of going into like ideas of forgiveness and forgiving of yourself and loving yourself. It's like we get so caught up on our past mistakes and the things we've done wrong to ourselves and to others that we don't want to let go of those things. It's almost like you start to identify yourself with your past mistakes. And then you never forgive yourself, and you're never able to heal and move forward. But it's like, every moment is like a new universe being born, is kind of the way I see it. It's like you have, like, the whole world is like happening every moment that you are observing it. You can change. Like, you are not stuck in the old world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard a phrase that sums that up. It's called "Don't trip on what's behind you."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when that hit me, it was like a pong, hit me in the head. And I've actually kind of clung to that recently. And my brother gave me that. He heard it from somewhere.
Oh,
And
he's a wise man.
He is. He's a wise ass as well. So
I could see that.
and he knows it. I tell him every day. But so you're an only child, right?
I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that had to be weird because I can't imagine.
Oh yeah. Apparently it is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was an only child. And yeah, I mean, I always wanted a brother or
Yeah.
a sister or
Right.
anything. It would have been great. I probably learned a lot less about conflict than other people did
Yeah,
because
right.
I also I feel like I was the first, second, and third child all wrapped into one.
How's that?
Well,
from your parents. Yeah.
yeah. Well, they say that there's like a child, whatever birth order
Right.
theory,
The older,
where the oldest is
middle.
like the most like strict and
Right.
like type A and like got to get everything right, and then the middle one is a little more laid back, and then the third one's just like whatever.
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want.
I'm the baby.
Yeah.
That's funny. But back on music. So on this new album, and you haven't come up with a name for it yet.
Yeah.
Still working on that. How many songs do you actually sort of have ready? How many's going to be on it, and then how many are done?
Okay, so there's gonna be 10 songs.
10 songs.
None of them are done. They are done in the fact that the lyrics are done, the arrangements are done, but we have not officially recorded anything yet. The first recording, we're going to do drums first, and that's actually happening on March 23rd. Going to go to Austin and record drums at a little studio over there. And then we're off to the races, It really, we spent a lot of time getting the arrangements right and getting the lyrics right and figuring out, making sure everything was good, because the last thing we wanted to do, which I learned when we did my EP, was like, dude, I do not want to go back and re-record this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we spent a lot of time finishing that stuff out, and yeah.
So when you go in, you're going to be ready. You just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, at least with the drums, get the drums in, and then we can get the bass in, and then all that stuff is up for play. I mean,
Right.
keyboard parts. I know all the basic rhythm tracks. I know because I'm playing. I wrote them. I'm playing them, and then we're gonna start sprinkling in the atmosphere and other production tricks and stuff like that to make them stand out as their own.
You've worked with these guys before.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the style? Is there? I don't want to pigeonhole you. Is there a general? Genre?
I jokingly say my style is Texas yacht rock. You know what yacht rock is?
I do. I sure do. Yeah, it's got its own radio station.
Yeah. Texas yacht rock, maybe. I don't know.
That's pretty good. I like that. That's really good. I really am excited. I want to hear that.
Yeah. It's got a lot of elements. It's got some like Tom Petty elements, some classic rock elements. It's got some jazz, soul elements. I'm all over the place kind of with it. So that's been a challenge, is making sure everything stays a little cohesive.
Where does it come from? Where's the well? What are you drawing out of? Is it obviously it's everything. It's mental, it's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's your day-to-day grind. You just see things that happen, No real set way that it comes about or a song comes to.
No, not at all. Sometimes it's a chord progression, sometimes it's a melody, sometimes it's a set of lyrics that you think, okay, that could be cool. And then sometimes it all comes together in, 2 nights, you write it all in one night, you refine it the next night. Sometimes it takes like 6 months. To really figure out what you were talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and that happens to me a lot. It's like I'll do the first half of the song easy, no problem.
Right.
And then like, well, what the heck am I trying to do here in this second part?
Yep, I do that too. I drive myself crazy. If it's the best ones, if you can finish them all at once.
Oh, it is.
At least get to the end. May not be perfect.
Yeah, and I kind of like doing it this way because it kind of allows it to be
Say
like
this way. What do you mean?
so not forcing yourself to finish everything.
Oh yeah.
Like I kind of like it to happen organically. I do think there's a lot of value in practicing your craftsmanship and just doing the song. And I've had to do some of that, just to get them done, But what I like about the organic way that I kind of do it is it's like, well, I get to live in between the songs.
Yeah.
And I get to let my life and the things, like whatever, the things that are cooking, right, kind of simmer and then come back to you later on in life.
It's interesting though that you use the of cooking.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought it was a lot like cooking. You start with a base, meat and potatoes. Then you throw in a little this, throw in a little that. You heat it here, you cool it off here.
Yeah, yeah.
And it reminds me a lot of cooking.
Yeah, it is.
Somebody could write the song. Surely there's a
There
song
already
there.
is. I can't remember the name of it, but it's called like Soul Soup or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
Music being like cooking or vice versa.
It's a song about it, and then he's like, "This is it's an old R&B song."
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Or funk song. The record's going to be out hopefully 2024. We're off to the races. Going to get that thing recorded, and
Yeah.
we're going to be working on merch and doing shows. I'm going to be trying to
Really? Gonna do
get some music
shows?
video stuff done. Yeah.
Music videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
this is an all-out assault.
yeah, it is. I'm going to be, putting a lot of time in on that stuff.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I'm very excited.
Yeah, man.
If y'all have never seen this guy play, damn. To me, he's the next guy. So, our area is we've got a lot of famous people that have come out of here. Like I say, I think there's something in the water. To me, this is the next guy. So I hope y'all will catch Fletcher, get his CD. Is there a website or?
It's FletcherInzerMusic.com.
Yeah.
Or if you want to just go to Spotify, Fletcher Inzer. I'm on, yeah. Some people get it wrong sometimes. But yeah, I'm on all streaming platforms.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely check that out. Texas Yacht Rock. That's a great description.
I don't know what else to say.
That's a great
Yeah,
description.
that's the way
I
to
like
say it.
that. Very original.